Hi, welcome to my lab. It's Mermaid, so it's time for some fish.
I am a fish.
The idea for today's doll was cooking in my head for almost as long as my break. When I was working on my Astral Chimera doll, I realized that I had so much fun sculpting her goat features and...
I want more.
After publishing my winter fantasy doll in not so wintry time, I wondered about other possibilities when I could flip the coin and prepare a summer doll in not so summery time. Then I got an idea about coral reef doll because it reminded me of Australia in southern hemisphere. Back then I didn't watch Bluey yet, so coral reef had stronger associations. Since it will require a lot of sculpting and, as we already established,
I want more.
so it will be perfect for my next project. For my victim, I picked up Lorna McNessie doll. Due to her detailed sculpting, I wouldn't be able to use her in other not fishy project, so she will be perfect. This time I am going to keep her original hair. It is in good shape and has got nice coral color. I spent a lot of time looking for perfect coral doll hair, but I couldn't find anything close to this I had in my mind, so Lorna's original hair is good enough. Anyways, let's bring her to my Murine spa, where each doll is treated like a queen. Since our client for some silly reasons wants us to keep her original hair, this time we cover them with cloth and warm up the neck with hair dryer for easier decapitation. Next, we spoiled her with our relaxing deep body peeling and sponge bath with isopropanol. At the end, we gave her nice acetone face mask. Murine Spa, everything for those who want a new start. I took my Apoxie Sculpt, a 2-part epoxy clay, mixed equal parts of A and B components and started the fun part. Lorna came to me without her leg fins, so I started from filling the holes. In preparation for this doll, I did off camera some marine decorations from leftovers of epoxy from previous projects and started to add some of them as I wanted. Sculpting small details like coral arms was more difficult than I thought, so I went with my plan B and took a resin mold with small sea elements, hoping that I can use it as a mold for epoxy. However, elements were too small to keep the shape even with easier molds, so I moved forward, in meantime thinking about other solutions. Finally, I decided to use the mold as intended with UV resin. I filled up each mold and cured them under my UV torch. They turned out so cute and were very helpful in this project, and off camera I did more. Unfortunately, I used transparent UV resin, so it is not very visible on camera, but stay with me on this. don't forget about tail. As you see, many of elements are repeating. Seaweed vines, mussels, shells, fish, starfish, long tubes with holes, flat beds for other elements. Her design is already busy and I didn't want it to overwhelm her with various shapes. At least this is what I am telling to my perfectionist, to shut up and stop complaining that I run out of the ideas. I still want to keep her poseable, so I was super careful around her joints. Off camera, I washed her hair, protected it with cloth, and finally connected her hair to the body. I sculpted something on her face too. Not much because I still want to paint her face. And I think this is everything for sculpting. I covered all sculpted parts with transparent gesso to protect them and make a nice surface for paint to stay on them. Off camera I gave them all white base color. I sketched her face with watercolor pencils to have some idea of her face expression, but this is not the time for face-up, but for painting sculpted thingies on her body, one by one. It was this moment when I realized that I bite way more than I chewed, because it took so long. Also, I got very interested in Stardew Valley, like, a lot. I did most of this process off camera because I felt some sort of burnt out with my doll art and extremely engaged with pixelated crops and grinding for this stupid golden clock. And I wanted to have fun with this doll without worrying about the camera. I don't know if this is only me thing, but usually what stops me the most from repaints is setting my workplace. Putting down my phone holder, gathering the paint, brushes and water, and setting my sewing machine. Sometimes it feels so overwhelming. Removing the camera helped me a bit with managing this project and also allowing me to focus on these teeny tiny details. Also, my faithful pink phone holder broke, so I even didn't have other choice. You served me well, my friend. Luckily, that was able to repair it, so now you can serve my mom. So here is how she looks now, super colorful. But this is only the base layer and now it's time for a long and tedious process of detailing everything. Again, one by one. Nadszedł już czas, śpi fina brody, żagle w dół i beczka pełna wody. Schodzisz w dół, w dół, w dół, w dół, tam gdzie jest zimna morska toń. Again, it took ages, but this is what defined this doll and added depth to each element. There she is, in all her glory. Off camera, I sealed her with DuraClear Ultra Matte Varnish and started to apply shades with blue pastels on her head, face and body. It is so obvious that I am out of touch with filming because these clips are almost out of the frame. I have a mixed feelings about body blushing. I like that it gave depth to her joints and sculpt, but at the same time it muted a bit some of the elements, making them less vibrant than before. But maybe I am just nitpicking. What do you think? Okay, now it's time for face up. As you can see, I gave her very strong pink blushing on the face, so she kinda looks like she's sick, but stay with me on this. I started from repainting sketch of her eyes, which disappeared under the pastels. I am using my new brush and oh my blob, they are amazing! Lines are so thin! Only if I was better in using it. Next, I painted her sclera starting with grey base color. Again, I know that this is odd choice and I may have a thing for dark sclera, but once more, stay with me on this, okay? I want her pupils to feel glowing, and to make this effect really working, I need to give them darker background. So for her eye color, I went with this yellow-orange tint, similar a bit to her hair color. I put a lot of brightness to the lower portion of her eyes for this glowing effect. Later I realized that I don't like her eyebrows. One day I will pull out these delightful mini brows. So I gently removed them with acetone. I also wanted to give her different facial expression. And now she looks sad, just like I wanted. To finish her, I painted her black eyelashes. This time no falsies, I had faith in my new brushes. And it turned out really nice, at least on her left eye, right is little wonky. For some final touches I painted white catch lights and face up is done. When I told my bestie that I am doing a coral reef doll, she suggested me to use glitter to symbolize microplastic, which is killing the coral reef. So I took a glitter she gave me, mixed it with gloss varnish and applied it to random parts of the doll body. Yeah, she is sad and looks sick because she is dying. Yeah.
Dark.
Anyways, I love the symbolism, so I had to do this. I even decided to gloss her eyes and lips with it. Lastly, I glued to her bunch of colorful rhinestones and pearls, this time with no microplastic symbolism, just the beauty of the coral reef. As a final touch, I glossed her eyes and lips with UV resin. I found it way more glossy than even multiple layers of gloss varnish. As a last minute decision, I decided to give her a small tear on her left eye. I wanted it to be very subtle. Time to reveal her hair, and she's done! No clots this time! I think she is the longest project so far, not only because of my procrastination and acres of pixelated melons, but by the sheer amount of work I had to put in sculpting and painting. I wasn't expecting so much work, and at the end of the day I think it was worth it because I love how she turned out. Another fishy installment in my collection. I'm glad to be back, and I think that now I should finally start working on Adrian doll, which you are keep asking me for. But this is for another day. Until then, see you next time. Bye!